Right, let's talk about a totally not controversial issue right now. Israel. Let's talk about this. This is bound to be chill for everybody because Israel is potentially going to be suspended from international competition by UEFA because, yes, guys, even though Israel is nowhere near Europe, it is in UEFA and they could potentially get suspended for doing some pretty naughty things. It is fair to say a very controversial subject right now. A lot of people supporting them, a lot of people not supporting them, but the amount of evidence piling up that Israel is at least doing some wrong is getting pretty large. It's getting pretty large, to say the least. Of course, the likes of Russia and I think Belarus to an extent are suspended, or at least have sanctions placed upon them by UEFA. Belarus can play in UEFA competitions, but they have to do so behind closed doors and in a neutral venue. Russia have been banned ever since 2022. You know why. But let's have a look at why UEFA are finally potentially going to take some action against Israel. This'll show them. This will definitely get them to stop doing what they're doing, them naughty, naughty boys. And girls. Girls probably doing some wrong things too over there. Allegedly. Anyway, let's get into this. This totally will not be controversial at all. UEFA is moving towards a vote on suspending Israel from international football because of its military campaign in Gaza, according to some sources briefed on the talks. A majority of the 20-member executive committee is expected to back the proposal, which will prevent Israeli national and club teams from competing in UEFA events and affect participation in next year's World Cup qualifiers. Israel's men's team is scheduled to resume qualifying next month with matches against Norway and Italy. Exclusion would mirror the treatment of Russia, which was suspended in 2022 after its invasion of Ukraine. At that time, UEFA members refused to play scheduled games against Russian opponents, a step that has not yet happened with Israeli teams. But there have been serious rumours about them doing so. They are very much considering that being an action potentially. And I think interestingly, Norway is one of the biggest countries that wants to potentially do that as well. So they are in their European qualified group as well. So FIFA's stance is unclear. Its president, Gianni Infantino, has developed close ties with Donald Trump, whose administration was instrumental in securing the 2026 World Cup in North America. Infantino has been working from FIFA's satellite office in Trump Tower this week while attending events around the UN General Assembly. A State Department spokesperson confirmed it would oppose any attempts to block Israel from the World Cup participation. FIFA's ruling council, which includes 8 UEFA members, is due to meet in Zurich next week. Pressure on UEFA has mounted as criticism of Israel's actions grow. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez recently called for Israel to be barred from global sport, just as Russia was. Spain was the one I was thinking of. It's those guys who've been making quite a few noises as well. At the UEFA Super Cup in August, banners reading "Stop killing children" and "Stop killing civilians" were laid on the pitch before kickoff. At the Champions League final as well, PSG fans unveiled a "Stop Genocide in Gaza" banner without disciplinary action. Last week, a UN Human Rights Council inquiry accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. Protests have followed Israeli teams across Europe. Outside Maccabi Tel Aviv's Europa League fixture in Greece on Wednesday, demonstrators waved Palestinian flags, while a "Stop Genocide" banner was displayed inside the stadium. Israeli Sports Minister Miki Zohar said he, in this case Prime Minister Netanyahu, and Football Federation President Moshe Suarez are working intensely behind the scenes to block UEFA action. The right step now is to act responsibly with professionals and not to make statements, his office said. Norway and Italy's federations have signalled unease about playing Israel. Norway pledged to donate ticket revenue from its October qualifier against Israel to Doctors Without Borders in Gaza. Both Norway's Lisa Klaveness and Italy's Gabriele Gravani sit on UEFA's executive committee, as does Suarez, alongside PSG president Nasser Al-Khelaifi, who is also a Qatari government official. Qatar's tensions with Israel deepened earlier this month after an Israeli airstrike in Doha targeted Hamas leaders. That strike angered an ally whose mediation had been central throughout the conflict. UEFA's president Alexander Shafarin and his executives now face a critical decision that could isolate Israel further on the international stage. If suspension passes, it would mark one of the most consequential disciplinary moves in European football since Russia's exclusion 3 years ago. Yeah, and I've seen a quote quote from President Trump as well, saying something along the lines of he will do everything he can to allow Israel to compete at the World Cup. I mean, let's be real here, guys. They ain't going to qualify because they're crap at football. Like, they are terrible. They're a rubbish side. But, you know, it's the principle of it. You know, they have the opportunity to qualify and, you know, the opportunity to play teams and kind of just brush all this under the carpet for a bit. You know, they can't play their games in Israel. They've been playing their games at neutral venues in Eastern Europe and Greece and places like that. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens with this one, guys. I mean, it's going to be a big talking point no matter what. You know, you can't deny that there's obviously a lot of controversy over there, and you can't deny that there's definitely a chance that they will be suspended by UEFA, but will they be suspended by FIFA as well? Because those are two different things. You know, if UEFA suspend Israel, and presumably their qualifying campaign will be expunged, you know, they will just be removed from it. But it's for a FIFA competition, so I don't know how it all works. It's complicated, to say the very least. But I think if UEFA ban them, then they're out of the World Cup officially. I don't think it matters what FIFA do at that point. It's a complicated situation, like I said. But get your thoughts in the comments below, guys. I'm sure you've got plenty of them. We'll see you soon for much more content on the world of football. Maybe something a little less controversial than this one.